After a long, stressful day in the life of a typical college student, cracking open a cold one seems like the perfect way to relax and unwind. But what if I told you that you could receive even better stress relief in a way that totally lacks the danger of getting a beer belly and is completely free? Meditation offers exactly that. As a fourth-year college student myself, I've seen fellow students attempt to cope with stress in many different ways. One of the most common coping mechanisms that I see people use is alcohol, and from an outside perspective, it's clear that it's not as effective as people think. Stress and college are inherently intertwined, and this attempting to balance maintaining good grades, a social life, and adequate sleep is something that almost all college students struggle with. Stress is inevitable, and this makes finding healthy ways to cope with it all the more important in our daily lives. I would like to show you that using meditation as a coping mechanism can be just as effective, if not more effective, than using alcohol the way many college students do. This is because meditation is more effective at reducing stress than alcohol is. Alcohol has actually been proven to reduce stress in larger doses, whereas meditation at worst has a negligible effect on stress. Though, more often than not, it actually does help relieve stress and anxiety. Additionally, meditation is free and can be performed virtually anywhere by anybody. Finally, meditation has been proven to increase cognitive ability, whereas alcohol generally reduces cognitive functioning, thus contributing to more stress and the consumption of more alcohol. Meditation is proven to reduce stress. While alcohol can be used to cope with stress, it has a relatively low efficacy. Alcohol has been shown to reduce stress in small doses, though in many cases it actually increases stress and anxiety, and in larger doses, alcohol definitely increases stress and may even induce it. Mixing stress and alcohol can create a feedback loop that contributes considerably to the development of alcoholism, especially when used as a primary coping mechanism or among people who already have poor coping skills. The National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism says that alcohol carries a myriad of life-threatening side effects, minor to life-threatening side effects and risks, both short-term and long-term. Short-term risks include reduced motor function and reduced inhibitions in smaller doses, and at excessive doses, unconsciousness, amnesia, alcohol poisoning, and even death. Long-term risks include dependency, numerous forms of cancer, type 2 diabetes, cirrhosis, hepatitis, pancreatitis, as well as many psychological effects, including but not limited to irritability, anxiety, sleep disorders, and psychosis. Meditation has been proven to reduce stress in many studies, often more effectively than placebo. Research subjects from numerous studies, including one conducted by the University of Freiburg, reported reduced stress and anxiety after meditation. Meditation enables individuals to reframe their experience and stressors to a healthier process, thus reducing stress. Meditation has no reported negative side effects like alcohol does, and at worst it has little to no effect whatsoever. There are no negative health risks associated with meditation, and as such, its practice carries no risk, so why not give it a chance? As we can see, one method of stress reduction is clearly more effective than the other, but why should we worry about stress reduction among college students in the first place? Stress and anxiety are enormously prevalent among college students. Stress can reduce academic performance, erode interpersonal relationships, and affect one's motivation to succeed. In a joint study between the University of Alberta and the University of Western Ontario, it was found that 94.7% of college students reported higher than average levels of stress. It also found that many college students lack proper context-based coping mechanisms in general. Students who reported higher levels of stress also resorted to more avoidance-type coping mechanisms, and while these mechanisms generally led to short-term stress relief, they were ineffective at long-term stress relief. An avoiding coping mechanism is any behavior that leads to avoiding certain responsibilities to protect one's own psychological health, such as procrastination, social withdrawal, and substance abuse. Stress substantially contributes to poor academic performance and lack of organizational skills. It can negatively affect time management skills, often causing individuals to procrastinate and neglect responsibilities. High levels of stress can make it difficult to retain information, which has the potential to significantly lower a student's academic performance. Forgetfulness is strongly linked to stress and anxiety. Numerous mood disorders and irritability are associated with stress, which can ruin interpersonal relationships, especially between friends and family. Students who fail to properly cope with stress and anxiety often isolate themselves from others, cutting off an important support network, which could lead to depression and further damage productivity and motivation. It's obvious that stress and anxiety work against a student's will and ability to succeed, so let's take a look at how students generally deal with stress. Proper coping mechanisms are necessary for students to reach their full potential. Many students lack skills or knowledge of proper stress management and often turn to less effective or even risky coping mechanisms. In a study published by the Canadian Journal of Counseling, it was found that the two most common coping mechanisms were avoidance coping and alcohol. Avoidance coping often leads to additional stress as responsibilities tend to pile up, creating an unmanageable mess of things to do within a short period of time. Alcohol is very common, it's easily accessible, and often encouraged by older peers, and it can be a result of avoidance coping. Students who fail to cope properly end up delving into more self-destructive habits that can create a feedback loop, leading to more stressful situations in the future. Since such a large number of college students lack proper stress management skills, meditation is especially worth looking into. The concept isn't as common in our culture as it is in Eastern societies, but many people are unaware of its benefits and how it works. So how do we even begin? Meditation is a skill that can be improved upon with many different techniques that are virtually accessible to anybody, and there is no equipment or purchase necessary. One just simply relaxes and practices the following methods. Focused attention meditation is where one focuses on a single object or mantra for an extended period of time in order to clear the mind of outside distractions. Open and monitoring meditation, also referred to as mindfulness meditation or mindfulness stress-based reduction, is a technique where the individual focuses on moment-to-moment experiences and thoughts as they come about. Mindfulness meditation is the most commonly researched method of meditation in clinical studies. People who meditate more become aware of their psychological and physiological health through mindfulness meditation, as this technique helps individuals focus on their thoughts and note them as they come and go. Many of these thoughts can be ignored or buried during stressful everyday life. Transcendental meditation is one of the most common forms of meditation, using a mantra, focused on clearing the mind of distractions, and is similar to focused attention meditation. Though it is the most commonly studied method, there is still more need for research, but the current results are positive and promising, especially compared to alcohol. Though it's widely researched, transcendental meditation lacks high-quality research. Despite this lack of research, transcendental meditation does show promise in reducing stress and improving overall quality of life. Regardless of which technique one chooses, meditation is a skill that can be improved upon and can induce a flow state or a Zen state in which the mind and body are completely balanced. To accomplish this, it can improve the ability to meditate and reduce stress by increasing self-esteem and self-worth. Meditation only requires a few minutes per session to find any benefit, though some users will meditate for up to an hour or longer. Meditation can be performed virtually anywhere, making it very accessible. Now that we've touched on how meditation can provide stress relief and bring us back to normal levels of functionality, let's look at what other benefits it can bring us. Properly coping with stress can help us restore mental function and clarity, but using meditation to do so can actually improve cognitive functioning beyond normal levels. This makes it much superior to alcohol's efficacy in reducing stress and improving functionality. Part of the appeal of alcohol is that it reduces one's ability to think clearly. While reducing one's cognitive ability can provide limited psychological relief, it can also cause one to make rash decisions, which only increases stress later on. As stated earlier, the reduction of cognitive ability due to the consumption of alcohol has the potential to reduce stress, but it also has the potential to create stressful situations simply due to the fact that the user has limited thinking power and may make poor decisions, as seen here. Obviously, reduced cognitive function is hugely detrimental to academic performance. The risks associated with drinking as a coping mechanism, physical or otherwise, hugely outweigh any minor benefits. Meanwhile, meditation, especially mindfulness meditation, has been proven to increase cognitive ability and mental acuity. Studies at Boston University have demonstrated actual changes in brain activity through fMRI scans in patients who have practiced meditation over time. Those who practice meditation, especially mindfulness meditation, show increased skills in emotional compartmentalization and emotional intelligence, likely due to their increased self-awareness. Regular meditation helps users stay focused on tasks more efficiently than they had prior to meditation practice, as meditators are much more aware of their shifting mental states, allowing them to stay on task more easily. Meditation improves mood and can lead to clearer mental ability and less emotional distractions. All in all, meditation is more accessible, far superior to alcohol as far as a coping mechanism. Alcohol may be a quick fix for relieving stress, but meditation is far more effective at getting a student through the daily college grind. Meditation is superior to alcohol as a stress reliever in almost every single way, while alcohol is simply self-destructive and risky. Stress is a large factor in students' well-being, and many people do not know the proper techniques to deal with it, often inadvertently increasing their own stress. Meditation, however, is easy to learn, and anybody can do it. Meditation also contributes to increased cognitive ability, which is essential for college students who want to succeed. We're all here in college to improve our lives and our futures. When stress gets us down, why would we turn to an easy fix that will only work against us? I urge all of you to give meditation a try instead of cracking a cold one when you want to relax and wind down. Thank you.